Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Caroline joining me. Hey, Caroline.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, everyone.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video, how to manifest a commitment. So we've got a success story from one of Caroline's clients. We're going to read through that, and then we're going to share some tips and tricks with you on how you can manifest a commitment in your life if that's what you're looking to do. So this video is for anybody that is with somebody that just wants friends with benefits, or their specific person has said that I'm not ready to commit, I don't want to commit. If you want to take your relationship from that to the next level, then this video is definitely going to have a lot of tips and tricks for you. So just before we dive into it, guys, we've got we've got a course we're giving away for free, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. Link is in the description below. It's a great course. I made it. We've gotten lots of great feedback. It's going to help you to be able to identify what your blocks are and build your mental diet, which is the most important thing because our thoughts create. And of course, Caroline's having a 50% off sale. Definitely check out the link in the description below. It's ending soon, so definitely check that out. So yes, I'm excited for this success story.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first, I want to thank everybody and, the subscribers for the warm welcome. I'm so happy to have joined the team, the wonderful Create Your Future. So today, I want to talk about the importance of identifying your current reality, because it's crucial to take a good look at your current reality. This is how you identify your blocks. So I want to go back real quick to review what a block is. It's just a thought that is the opposite of what you want to manifest. So we call them negative thoughts. So now when you keep on having, your thoughts, you saying your intentions, affirmation, the repetition creates a belief, and that gets imprinted in your subconscious, and it does push out. So when you have a negative thoughts, what do you push out? It's a reality that you do not desire. So I also want to point out that a belief at one point of your life can be a very positive belief, but depending on the events of your life and a different stage, that same very belief can become a negative belief, and the outcome is no longer what you wanted. So this is how we are going to see why the current reality is so important. And I'm going to illustrate this with an example of our success story. So my client, she was single for quite a while, and she met a person and they started hanging out, and little by little doing more things that regular couples do, having fun, going out, sharing activities. They even went on a couple trips. So she said, yeah, this is my SP, and I do want a relationship too with him. And I say relationship too because it appeared that the SP, he wanted a relationship. So they carried on like this for a few months. And then one day he sat her down and he said, you know what? I don't want a serious relationship. I'm not ready for commitment. And that was a cold shower. She was shocked. She felt crushed. She felt defeated. She was really in shock. She didn't even say anything, she told me. And at that point, so we started working, and she said, okay, I have to recreate this guy. We have to revise the scene. So we came up with also, to begin with, self-concept affirmations, like I am wanted, I am chosen, I am good enough to be in a serious relationship. But what happened was the hurt from his words was still dominant, was still very present. And she kept on rethinking about that day. It was like the fatal day. It was like a sentence, like final. She knew it was not final, but that's how it felt because she was so hurt. So we look at her, the hurt, her sadness as, the emotion that was coming from her keeping on thinking about it and from the words he had said to her. And there was a reaction. So that reaction, she kind of dwelled on it for a while, and she basically saw the relationship vanished altogether from her life. So he was not even responding to her text, and she was just overwhelmed with that sadness. So we had to bring her back to a state of being neutral to cancel out this reaction. And then from there, go back to our statements, our affirmations. We also not only work on self-concept, we work on the relationships, on SP. SP is now ready for a commitment, he's now ready for a relationship. And she felt better. She kept on going with her mental diet, little by little. They connected again, started doing things again. And this was over a period of a few months, right? I'm just giving you the condensed version. But every time she mentioned relationship or commitment, same thing. He did not want to hear anything about it. He had a very dark vision of it, which she did not understand, because to her, what they were sharing was almost like a commitment without the commitment. And falling into the friends with benefits category was something she did not want to be, that she was clear on. So talking to her, we realized, okay, the common theme here is really the relationship, commitment, and this serious relationship. So I asked her, I said, well, tell me, please, what is your definition of relationship? And she started giving me a definition of what she wanted the relationship to look like in the future with SP. I know, we are going to do this after. This is for your future reality. We need to deal first with your current reality, because you obviously have something in your subconscious that's not serving you right now. So let's go back. So talking about her past, she revealed to me that she was for many years in a relationship, and she felt that she was suffocating. She felt that she had lost herself. She had to alter her personality to comply with the lifestyle of her ex. And basically, she needed the ex to survive. So she was not good. She was not being her happy self. So being out of a relationship, what it meant for her was to be an empowered woman, a strong woman, a woman who could stand on her 2 feet, a woman who did not need anyone to survive. She had her, the ability to be herself. Her personality was back. No one was going to tell her anything. So that was a aha moment, because being out of a relationship meant she was happy in herself. So that's exactly what she was seeing in her 3D reality. In order to be happy, with or without the SP, she could not be in a relationship. So what we had to do was to rephrase and re-give the word relationship, commitment, a new definition, and put 2 and 2 together. So as of today, being in a relationship means that I am a strong woman, I can be independent, I can be myself, and yet, at the same time, be in a happy relationship with SP who respects and loves the way I am. So that is the way we reprogram our subconscious. We just look at one definition that does not serve us anymore, rephrase it, recreate it, and then it gets reprinted in the subconscious. And then she could go on with her mental diet, with her new definition, and look at the future. The past, she could let it go. But she had to face it at that point in order to really move forward, because it kept on creeping back into her reality. So little by little, it took a few months, but she really worked hard. She kept really, really strong on her mental diet and arrived the commitment. So that was a beautiful success story.
That is so amazing. I mean, that right there, total NLP, changing the way that we look at a situation. And yeah, sometimes those could be the blocks, is our fear of who we're going to be in that situation. So, I mean, she was obviously like intending that she was strong and that she was independent. And with those thoughts mixed with the thoughts of, well, if I'm in a relationship, I'm going to lose that. And then intending, I want to be in a relationship. But, the thing is, right, is at the end of the day, the subconscious mind has to respect the fact that she wants to be, strong and independent, not have to rely on anybody. That's going to block from having that relationship, because those traits are not identified with that version of her that's in a relationship. So, I mean, definitely very, interesting block for sure. And, we create those things already by saying, okay, well, I want to lose 5 pounds before I go on a date. Well, now we're going to have to do that. You know what I mean? There was another really interesting story that sort of shows reframing. And I learned it when I was doing my NLP course. And this lady came in for, coaching. And she says, well, you know what? I'm just so fed up with my family. They leave mess everywhere, muddy footprints everywhere. They mess up the house. And it's like, they don't respect me. And the NLP practitioner actually said, well, let's like reframe that. Let's look at it in a different light. Basically, the kids messing up the house and being home means that you have a family and they love you. And it's not, because the kids weren't doing it on purpose. Kids are going to be kids. But, it was kind of like, what happens if your house was empty? Well, I'd be lonely. Well, these things are all signs that you're not lonely and that these people love you and are around you. And then all of a sudden, the money footprints don't matter anymore. And then, of course, you can take it a step further and intend that they be clean, and always clean up after themselves. So I think really what's important is, reframing the whole entire old story to something that isn't as bad. Like, for instance, when there's a fight and you have a fight with somebody and they say, oh, well, I don't want to be with you, instead of thinking, okay, that's the end of it. They said it, it's in stone, going, okay, they were just mad. They didn't mean it. Moving on. Do you know what I mean? To, get past that, emotion, like that strong emotional, hurt there, and to reframe it to go, no, they were just mad. They didn't mean it. They do want to be with me and we're never going to fight. We're always going to get along, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to see how the subconscious will always deliver what we printed up there. So we have to be on top of what we really are thinking, because we contradict ourselves all the time, all day long. So we
yes.
have to,
Ain't that the truth? I intend to always be on my mental diet and focus straight. So, I think what the really important thing is, when you are looking to manifest, a commitment, is looking at what your 3D is giving back to you. Like, I think that is so incredibly important, because, especially with your specific person, they're going to reflect back, what your blocks may end up being, right? And going a little bit further from there with like your story of your like past history of your relationships. You know what I mean? Like, for me to manifest a commitment, it was just strictly, men that were previously married had baggage, because I had a great self-concept, because I had a lot of other great relationships with men that were never married. And I was always successful in long-term relationships. But when it came to men that were previously married, i.e. Andrew, there was a block there for me, right? So, but some people, the block's different. They may have a block that, relationships never work out for me. Men are players. Or, it could be a self-concept. I'm not good enough, to be in a long distance relationship. It's never me that gets the long distance relationship, right?
yes, and I think that people, a lot of time, I see with my clients that they feel that all they have to do is to write the list of their affirmations and say them, or read them, and practice them. But we were not just born today. We have a past, and this is all in our subconscious. It has bring us where we are today. So let's really make sure the slate is clean. We have solved all those little issues that we had with our with the past, in order to really be clear on what we want today, and that we are not crossing the wires there, so we don't get a weird manifestation. It's like, okay, SB is here, He's acting like we're in a relationship, but he doesn't want a relationship. This is weird. Why? Well, what were you really believing?
Exactly. And if the good example of how our subconscious, right, like will take everything that we've believed and said throughout our whole entire past, right, was a really good example is I had my little list of manifestations and I intended to find money on the ground. But I've also been guilty of saying, well, maybe not guilty, but I've also said 100 times, and I have a belief that nobody carries cash anymore. It's all credit cards and Apple Pay and PayPal, like it's all electronic, right? So when I was intending to find cash on the ground, my subconscious mind had to respect my belief that nobody carries cash. So when I was walking through the parking lot of the bank, I saw a really clean, brand new gift card on the ground. And it wasn't like beside a like garbage can or anything. It was like right on like a yellow, like a white line where someone would park. So I was like, oh, and so nobody was around because it was a Saturday, the bank was closed. So I picked it up, and normally I would be like, I wouldn't even grab it, but something was just like, yeah, pick it up. So I picked it up and I thought, okay, I'll keep this. And then, so I went, used the bank machine. And then what was it? A couple weeks later, I went to go to that grocery store to pay for something. And I said, oh, here, try this gift card. And they tried it and there was $200 on it. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then of course, immediately, guys, I intended, because I know I'm going to hear comments about this. I know I'm creating it, but I did actually intend that the person that lost it would get it back tenfold some other way. Okay. I'm like totally intended that for the person, but I was like, oh my goodness. But that shows exactly how I had the belief that people don't carry cash, but I'm intending to find cash. So my mind took the path of least resistance, right?
It did. And then what you did also shows that in your reality, you're the author, so it worked in your favor. But in the other person's reality, it wins as well. And that's another thing, that we can all win at the same time, and we are all in our own little bubble.
Exactly. And what something that reminds me is you were talking about the 4 areas last time. Remember we spoke a couple days ago? You were saying the 4 areas. So the 4 areas, to manifest something are to do the story about yourself, right? And then the story about the other person, story about relationships in general, and then also your beliefs about manifesting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So with all 4 of those areas, right, to manifest a commitment, take a look at all 4 of those areas. Make sure that the story about yourself is good. Like, I'm good enough to be in a relationship. This is the person I'm going to be in a relationship, right? Then there's story about the other person. Jerry wants to be in a relationship. He's ready for a commitment. And then, your general thought about relationships in general, they always work out for me. They make me feel good, like just in general, right? And then also, I think a lot of this comes down to trusting that your beliefs, like that the law works, that your thoughts do create, because if you don't, that could very much be a block, right?
Your thoughts create and your thoughts change over time, depending on what you go through, how you evolve with life, how you age. So we have to constantly keep in check what we actually believe, because it does evolve, it does change, and that's fine. It's okay, but we have to be aware so we don't get stuck with an old one that will prevent us from actually enjoying what we want to manifest.
Exactly. And that's the funny thing is as quickly as we create something with like a passing thought, we can actually change it with a passing thought as well. And some things may take a little bit more work, to change the entire story. But I think the most important thing is to look at all your thoughts and beliefs about what you have now. Take a look at what your current reality is reflecting back to you in that area of your life, and say, do I want to keep that? Do I want to keep that belief? Does that thought get me in line with what I want? And if the answer is no, then it's about, okay, let's just change that as they come up, right? So a really good mental diet, and when you're on a good mental diet, it's because you're going to feel neutral about it. And,
right.
And once you feel neutral about it, you've left the space for it to actually show up, right?
Oh, yeah. And you change it, like you said, you change it instantly. All you need to do is recognize it. And how you recognize it, you take a good look at your current reality and just what makes you happy, what doesn't. That's it. And then you change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite thought when I want to manifest something I don't have is I'm like, why do I think I don't have it right now? You know, why do I think the other person doesn't want it? And whatever you come up with there is your answer. But don't spend too long there. You don't want to spend just
Oh,
enough to recognize it, right? Just enough to go, okay, boom, moving on, right?
that's a very good point, because I've noticed that we give excuses and we try to justify everything in our life at length, which in the end works against us. It just delays and delays the arrival of our manifestation and our desire.
Exactly.
So yeah, make it a little more simple.
Exactly. Very simple. Just got to keep on your thoughts. Nothing too hard.
No.
Some days easier than others, right? But I intend that every day is easy. And I intend that everybody watching this video gets an aha moment and they're going to take their relationship to the next level and find something to, you know, that inspires them to work on it. You know, and yeah, so thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you, everybody.
Yes.
I intend, I'm sorry. I
No, go ahead.
intend you all have a beautiful day, and all your manifestations are in front of you. You see them, you enjoy them.
Love it. Love it. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.